So right now we are kind of making predictions. Okay, so we're looking at a graph. Technically the graph looks like without this. Okay? So think that you don't have this part. You don't have this part. Okay? So the graph that you see is up to this. Okay? So what we have in red, we have the age of Canadian who are 15 and under. Then in blue we have the age of Canadian that are 60 and over. And in green we have the age of Canadian that are 80 and over. Okay? So it says use the graph to predict the number of Canadians in each age group in 2010. As you can see, the graph is going up by 10 years, right? So from 1970 to 1980, uses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. 5 squares is 2 years per square. So 2010 is going to be right here. Right? This is where 2010 is going to be. So it's 2002, 2004, 2006, 2008, 2008. So I have to look at my axis. I have to look at my scale. What am I going up with? I have to be able to determine. Now, if you picture the graph without the part that I've highlighted, right? You can't tell what the population will be in 2010. So you have to what we call extrapolate. Extrapolate is the word that we use when we extend something. Okay? So it's called extrapolate. Okay? So it's when I'm extending something to be able to find my information. So when I'm extrapolating, I have to look at the trend and I have to kind of predict what my trend is going to look like after a certain number of years. So if I'm looking at the age of 80 and over, what can you tell me about that? It's constant what? It's
slow. It goes up but slowly.
It's going up but slowly, right? You see that we have an increase. It's going up, right? But slowly going up, right? Now, why is that? Why do you think that the people who are 80 and over, there is an increase in the number of people who are 80 and over from 1970 to 2000? Better healthcare, right? More research, more solution, more medication, right? And also, a lot of the people who were born in the 1960s, right, or 1950s, they are turning 80 in the 2000s, right? 2010. They're born in 1940s or 30s. Now, another thing that we have to think about is there is no more war, right? Think about 1930s when we had the World War, right? There is the Second World War, right? So right now, in 1990 and 2000, whatever, there is less world war. There is war, but there is less war. So there's not a lot of people who are dying because of that. So you're going to expect that the number of people that are 80 and above, they're going to keep increasing, right? So when you extrapolate your graph, you're going to extrapolate it as an increase, right? And that's why you see me kind of dotted this, right? I dotted it as an increase dot. So what do you think the how many what's the population of people who are 80 and over in 2010? About 1 million, right? Because right here it's a million, it's in millions, right? So if I look here, it's about 1 million. Okay? So about, this is how we write about, so equal with a point on top of it. So this means about 1. This is for the 18 plus. How about for the people who are 60 and over? What kind of trend do you see from 1970 onward? It's rapidly increasing. Rapidly increasing. Again, this is due to the baby boomers, right? There's a lot of them. There's no more who are poor. There's better health care, so we're going to see a lot of people who are surviving past their 60s. Back then, in the old days, a lot of people used to die in their 50s and 40s because diseases that were not controlled, right? So again, we're going to see an increase, and that's why kind of like I have to follow the trend, right? So if I look at my population in 2010, that'd be about 6.5 million, right? So in the 60s to 80, it looks like I have about 6.3, let's say. Do you guys understand what that means? In 2010, there's 6.3 million Canadians that are over the age of 60, or just between the age of 60 and 80. People who are not working, right? Because people that are 60 or 65, they're going to retire. They're not going to keep working, right?
So the other ones has to be work for them.
That's right. So we, right, the generation that is like in the workforce have to kind of subsidize for these people who are retiring, right? Because guess where the government get the money to pay for these retired people? From our taxes, right? Not from their own like pocket, right? Now, age 15 and under, what do you see? What kind of trend do you see?
It's slow decrease, it's constant and decrease, slow decrease again.
So we
After
see
2000.
After 2000, we see it. We kind of like we're starting to see like a hump here, and then it kind of started to decrease, right? So we have a decrease, constant, a very slight increase, then we see a decrease, right? So the trend is showing that it's going to be a decrease, right? And that's why you see the red dotted line going down. Okay? So how many people do we have in that are age 15 and under? Do you expect to have in 2010?
5.
This is 5.
About 5. So I told you the government will look at these things. They will look at these trends, and they have because they need to decide what to do. They can't wait until the thing happens and start to try to solve the problem, because everything takes time. Nothing can happen overnight. They have to study ahead of time for the solution. So what decisions might the Canadian government make in response to the trends in the graph?
To help the family to get more kids, more
Maybe they can how do you say that, like subsidize families who are having more kids, right? If you have 3 kids or more, I will pay you whatever, right? And they're doing that kind of, right? They tell you that they're gonna pay for the daycare, they pay $10 a day, which is nothing, but still, right? They're helping. And like if you go to Montreal does a better subsidizing for families. They pay the families in Montreal pay $7 a day per daycare for daycare, and the government subsidizes the rest. So the government pays the $50, the people pay the $7. Here it's the other way around. People pay the $50, the government pays the $7, and everyone's not happy. Okay, so this is one way. They might kind of help families, right? Help somehow help families so they can have more kids? What other ways do you think they're gonna, because remember, they're in 2000 right now, right? They have 10 years to be able to, immigration. What kind of immigration though?
Person that can work.
People who are not 60, obviously, right? People who are young families, people who are like students, right? Student immigration or immigration for people who are, they want to make families and have kids and work and all this. That's good. So that's one way. That's another way. Yeah. What else? Raise taxes. That's the way. That's always their solution, right?
Or, or extend, say, extrapolate the age of work.
Like make it instead of 65, make it 67. They did it. They actually did it. Now they raised it to 67. But I mean, who wants to work until they're 60?
So increase that child tax benefit.
Give the people more money for child tax, so maybe they can have more babies. That could be that could work. But remember, that will not be a solution for the next 10 years. Right? Because like you're gonna have babies right now, but the babies won't be working until like another 18, 20, 24 years from now. Right? So it will help, but it won't help in the next 10 years. It will help in the next maybe 24 years.
Yeah, but they're looking for
Yeah.
So
So possible it would be increased immigration of families, right? That are young families or students, right? Increase retirement age.
We always thought that this is all, it gave us the roots here. Basically,
Improve health and social security. Elderly, old people, like older people. I'll get back to